Breece Hall's contract extension price has just been revealed, and the New York Jets front office wants to get on this as soon as they possibly can. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Football 365. If you're a New York Jets fan, please hit that subscribe button. But jumping right into the news for today, coming from Sports Illustrated, Spotrac recently projected Hall to sign a 4-year deal worth $38 million, which puts him at less than $10 million per season. At this price, or anything close, the Jets need to do everything in their power to sign him rather than trade him. Also coming from Sports Illustrated, Hall is a huge piece of the Jets team right now. He's a focal point of the offense when everyone is healthy, but Garrett Wilson sitting on the sidelines with a knee injury, Hall is seemingly the only star playmaker that the New York Jets have. Ignore the point where I wrote that down twice. So, Breece Hall is currently one of the players that the Jets are receiving the most trade calls on. As we get closer and closer to Tuesday's trade deadline, we are 1 week out. A ton of teams are calling on the New York Jets star running back. But if this really is the price for Breece Hall, the New York Jets would need to hop on it immediately. If we look at some of the running backs that are in this just under $10 million per year range, we can see Ramondre Stevenson, David Montgomery, James Conner, and Joe Mixon all slotting in somewhere between $9 million per year and $9.9 million per year. Now, looking at this, your first knee-jerk reaction should be Breece Hall is significantly better than these running backs. Why would he be projected to get such a low contract? And I would argue the exact same thing. On this screen, a rookie first-round pick, Ashton Jeanty, is pretty close to that figure at $8.973 million per year. And I just don't think that this is actually a realistic number for Breece Hall. On the open market, should he ever make it there in his free agency journey, you have to imagine Breece Hall would command somewhere in the range of $13 million per season. With the too high safety becoming more and more prevalent in NFL defenses, teams are finding it more and more important to find running backs who can, one, run the ball, and also catch and run, where they can catch the ball in the flat and make linebackers and safeties come down to make a tackle. So a player like Breece Hall is becoming in higher and higher and higher demand, and the New York Jets front office needs to make a decision on this quickly. If we look at Breece Hall's stats over the current season, he has over 8 games, 581 yards rushing, only 2 touchdowns, but he does add 21 receptions in the passing game, a running back that adds a whole lot to the New York Jets passing attack as well as the rushing attack when he's on the field. Last season, he had just under 900 yards rushing at 876, and then as a second-year player coming off his torn ACL, he put up almost 1,000 yards. First season as a rookie was awesome before tearing his ACL in that cursed turf up in Mile High, Denver. That's where AVT tore his triceps and Breece Hall tore his ACL. Not where you want to be if you're a New York Jet fan. But currently, Breece Hall plays running back, which is the position that is usually the final piece of the puzzle for competing teams. If you are the New York Jets and you have a running back like this, you are more inclined to pay him because you always want to make sure you're signing your up-and-coming homegrown talent, and that's good for morale, it's good for culture building, and tells guys that if you play well for the New York Jets, we will be rewarding you, which is the right message to send. The problem is the way you build teams in the modern NFL is not by paying running backs early. But I've been very outspoken about if you're the New York Jets, you have to trade Breece Hall because there are teams that are willing to send you a third-round pick. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs, I have no doubt that the Chiefs right now, their offense is already so good, but if you added Breece Hall to that, they could be so much better. And they can send a late third-round pick. They're going to be late. They're going to be in the playoffs. They might even be the number 1 seed in the entire AFC. And the Chiefs been to 3 Super Bowls straight. They probably think they're going to another one. So that pick could be like 96 or 95 or somewhere really, really late in the draft. That's why the Chiefs should send us that pick for Breece Hall. However, if we are now looking at the number that is being projected for Breece Hall, now this website Spotrac that is projecting this contract, they take into account history, all the contract negotiation news that's going around, and more importantly, the history of running back contracts and every contract to put out accurate depictions and projections of what the contract should be. So we can trust this Spotrac prediction with just under $10 million. And at that price, I actually am in on Breece Hall because of the lack of receiving talent around our quarterback. Right now, Justin Fields, probably going to be someone else next year, but we need to put pieces around our starting quarterback so we can actually figure something out offensively. Right now, it's just Mason Taylor and Garrett Wilson, and should we trade Breece Hall, it would be Mason Taylor and Garrett Wilson. That's not enough if we actually want to have a functioning offense. And even, I know it's only happened once in the last decade, but maybe even a good offense for the New York Jets. We have to figure something out. We can't be giving away our better receivers if they are this cheap. Now, if Breece Hall goes to Darren Mugie, our GM, and says, I need $13 to $14 million because that's what the market dictates I'm worth. If I'm the GM, I'm saying, you're right, Breece Hall, you do deserve that type of money because that is exactly what the market determines you're worth. But I'm not going to pay you that. Have fun in Kansas City. I'm not even saying that to be sarcastic. I truly wish the best for you because Breece Hall, plays hard out for the New York Jets every single week, and we are never good. And it must be really, really tough for these players to play like that, especially when you're a running back taking hits on snap after snap after snap. Really, really sucks. Also, tearing an ACL, you never want to see that happen. So, Breece Hall, if he is actually at this number of $9 million, you have to easily sign him. If not, you easily trade him away. Now, the question is, the Chiefs just in my mind make by far the most sense for a Breece Hall trade. I can't imagine why that trade, honestly, I don't know why it's not done already. Last night on Monday Night Football, Isaiah Pacheco suffered an MCL sprain, which means he's week to week. And now their current running back may be Kareem Hunt to start the season. Now, I drafted a ton of Kareem Hunt in fantasy football this year. I would love to see Kareem Hunt be the starting running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. But let's be honest, if you're the general manager for the Kansas City Chiefs, you probably don't want Kareem Hunt to be your starting running back, even as effective as he was last season. This year, the Chiefs' interior offensive linemen, they're not getting the same type of push in the running game, and their run game is struggling. Breece Hall, he's been running behind for most of his career, an offensive line that hasn't been very good. He knows how to make holes when they're not there. He can take any carry to the end zone and can make huge plays for that team. That's why the Chiefs should be interested in sending a third-round pick for Breece Hall. Looking around the rest of the league, there are a couple of other contenders who could use Breece Hall. The number one team I'm seeing right now is the LA Chargers. While they do still have Omarion Hampton, their first-round draft pick, on IR. I can't really understand why they would trade for Breece Hall, even though Hampton and Breece are different types of players, whereas Hampton is more of a run right at you, and Breece Hall is going to be more of that scat back receiving guy. I don't think it is worth it for the Chargers to send a third-round pick for Breece Hall, and that's another thing we're looking for. We're looking for a third-round pick, not a fourth-round pick. If it's a fourth and a sixth or a fourth and a fifth, then maybe we can have other conversations based on what team he would be going to. But there are other options for Breece Hall. If he doesn't get re-signed, I just hope that he would get traded and we wouldn't just hang on to him for this year and let him walk at the end of the year, because it doesn't make any sense for a bad team to hang on to a running back because they're bad investments, because with the amount of hits that running backs take in the NFL, they have a very short shelf life. So when you sign Breece Hall, it does not even confirm that you have him for the duration of the contract. That's why you have to be very careful when you are signing running backs to contract extensions, even if they've played very, very well for your team so far. So I want to see Breece Hall get signed if and only if it is under $10 million per year, which honestly, unless he came to me as a GM and said, I know I'm worth more than this, but I want to help out the team and I want to be a New York Jet, so I'm going to take less money. If Breece Hall doesn't say something like that, I would feel a little bit slimy to signing him to a contract worth that few $1 million per season, because I know he deserves more. But if he's, aware of how much he's worth and he's willing to take less money per year, then I would be all on board. I'd say, Breece Hall, welcome back. Can't wait to have you as a New York Jet. Let's run this thing up. But that's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Jets.